not too long ago, I did a video talking about a Screen Rant article where I questioned the timing of the article and asked, could they in fact be admitting some sort of guilt about Star Wars? Could Disney be admitting some sort of guilt in the mishandling of the franchise, in the admitting some of the failure of Star Wars? Now I see this article, right? Right after, a few days after Disney admitting that, yes, Star Wars lost a lot of money. Star Wars lost a lot of money in toys, in merchandise, in books, in product, and it has been losing money ever since they purchased it. So now I'm seeing this article, right? Star Wars Episode 9, the series. Why the Skywalker Saga's future is TV. Will this article be the predecessor, be the thing that tests the water before they announce that, we fucked up, we can't finish the Skywalker saga in the movies, so we're gonna have to spin them off onto TV? Oh, is that what they're doing here? Hello everyone, I am Mecha42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and let's take a look at this article. There's been so much, just a ton of Star Wars news, everything. Busy news week. but yeah, it's just kind of funny that we see these little articles to kind of test the water. Very reminiscent for me of the article that they released a few days before we found out, or maybe it was about a week before we found out that, yes, Disney is hemorrhaging money because of Star Wars. Oh, Lord. This year marks the end of the Star Wars Skywalker saga on film with Star Wars Episode 9, but that doesn't mean it can't continue on television. As is evidenced by what Lucasfilm has in production. Some 14 years after George Lucas was planning Star Wars Underworld as the Star Wars prequel trilogy came to a close, Star Wars fans are now getting their first ever live-action TV show in The Mandalorian, which comes just as the Star Wars sequel trilogy is ending. The Mandalorian is just one part of Disney and Lucasfilm's ambitious plans for Star Wars on TV, with more shows, both live-action and animated, on the way. Interestingly, this comes at a time when the future of the movie side of the franchise looks rather uncertain, as this is the first time since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012 that there's only one Star Wars movie on the docket. Nothing else is currently in production or even pre-production. We know far more about the upcoming TV shows than we do any future Star Wars movies. In turn, then, this reveals something else about Lucasfilm's strategy. The Star Wars movies can go off and do their own different thing after Star Wars Episode 9 hits theaters this December, and then on TV, rather on the Disney Plus streaming service, the Skywalker saga can be continued for years to come. Only 4 years after it started, Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy is coming to a close. J.J. Abrams is back for Star Wars Episode 9 to finish what he started, but this isn't just closing out a story of the last 3 movies, as well as finishing, for now, the story of Rey, Kylo Ren, and the rest. Yeah, just like the rest on Gilligan's Island. And the rest. Oh, Lord. And the rest of the saga's newcomers. Star Wars Episode 9 will also end the Skywalker saga. The story that started with the original Star Wars all the way in 1977 is going to wrap up for good. And don't start with and, please. We deal with Alex Kurtzman enough starting sentences with and. And to end the Skywalkers, you need some Skywalkers. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You can't put an end to the Skywalker saga with, killing off everybody. That's why Mark Hamill is returning as Luke Skywalker, despite having died in The Last Jedi. Because Rian Johnson just went and decided, I know what's good for Star Wars, let's kill Luke. That's why Abrams is repurposing old footage of the late Carrie Fisher, because that's not something filmmakers who have a plan and know what they're doing have to do going into these movies. They can right around stuff. But no, that really screams to me. The fact that they're using Carrie Fisher's footage, and the fact that they brought Mark Hamill back. I don't know how much I've talked about this on live streams or videos, but the fact that they're doing that really screams to me, oopsie, we failed. We kind of forgot you need the people who star in the movies to kind of star in your movies. Luke, though, will only be a Force ghost, and Leia can't have too big of a role. Both characters will be gone after this, and so too might Kylo Ren, the last surviving member of the Skywalker line. And one who looks unlikely to continue it anytime soon. Yeah, can you imagine basing an entire franchise on that punk? No. Of course, nothing really ends in Hollywood anymore. Disney making more episodic Star Wars movies seems likely, after they've taken a small break, of course. The Mouse House might even attempt to bring back Kylo Ren, and Rey for that matter. Please don't. If Star Wars Episode 9 doesn't kill him off, that is. Well, that doesn't matter. Death is not the end in Star Wars. But for now, and for all intents and purposes, 2019 is the line in the sand for the Skywalker saga. Yeah, but what if you don't like sand? Are we screwed? Maybe don't draw lines in sand. I don't know. Back in 2015, Disney was prepared to launch the new Star Wars trilogy with Star Wars The Force Awakens. And before the movie released, the future of Star Wars was quite clear. Rian Johnson would write and direct Star Wars Episode 8, and then control would pass on to Colin Trevorrow for Star Wars Episode 9. In between those movies would be the anthology films Rogue One, a Star Wars story directed by Gareth Edwards, is set for 2016, and Han Solo was Phil Lord and Chris Miller. We all know this. We can skip through some of this. 5 films in 5 different years and 5 filmmakers. It all seems so easy. No, that's a bad idea. Because, obviously, some things didn't quite go according to plan. Trevorrow is no longer directing Episode 9, and Solo, a Star Wars story, ended up being helmed by Ron Howard after Lord Miller shot the entire thing, and Ron Howard was brought in to reshoot the entire thing. What we do know is that the movies that are coming will be different and distinct to what's come before. Johnson's new Star Wars trilogy, we're not getting it. They're just ghosting him at this point. Which he'll write and perhaps direct, is going to be entirely separate. That'd be funny if they, had to contractually let him do one or the other, and they just let him write it, and then you have some other director come in and basically just change everything. That would be kind of hilarious. Because then you'd subvert his expectations by doing a completely different script. Johnson is instead going to do something completely original with his new films, going entirely new places with brand new characters. In addition to that, Game of Thrones creators D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are creating their own Star Wars movies. This might be an adaptation. It's not specifically brand new, but it too will be removed from the Skywalker saga. As it stands, these are the only Star Wars movies in any stage of development. Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi spinoffs have been canceled, solo sequels aren't happening, and there's nothing episodic beyond Episode 9. The Skywalker saga is really ending on film. It's in parentheses, it's not quotes, but this doesn't look as good as this. That's while there's only one upcoming Star Wars movie in production, plans for Lucasfilm's TV side are much more concrete. This is what concerns me. And it's here that the Skywalker saga is actually able to continue beyond Star Wars Episode 9. In part, this is already happening. Disney XD's Star Wars Resistance is practically taking place in the same time period as Star Wars The Last Jedi, and has featured characters from the sequel trilogy. Furthermore, Kylo Ren has been name-dropped already, which directly ties the show to the Skywalker saga. Since Disney's other animated offerings ran for a good few years each, it's even possible Star Wars Resistance could continue beyond Star Wars Episode 9. That would mean a story partially connected to the main saga continuing on TV after the movies wrap up. If it's in the Star Wars universe, though, doesn't it all completely kind of match up to the Skywalker saga? Because pretty much everything is related in some way. Then there's Disney Plus, which launches this year, where we'll be getting multiple live-action Star Wars TV shows. First up is The Mandalorian, which is about the new side character, and is somewhat linked to the Skywalker saga. It's set a few years after Return of the Jedi, which means it'll be in a galaxy very much impacted by the events of the original trilogy. There's also the confirmed return of IG-88, meaning at least one character from the saga will appear. Based on that, there's a good chance more Star Wars characters will follow. Well, I mean, it's their bread and butter, really. They really need to bring in some of these characters. They're going to need to bring in the Skywalker saga characters or the Clone Wars characters. They're going to need to do something to get fans excited. And it also kind of admits that, hey, we can't wrap this up because Rian Johnson screwed us. So, is that what they're doing here? Is that what they're kind of doing? They're kind of admitting, let's test the water. Let's release this little fluff article from Screen Rant. And let's test the water to see if people want Skywalker Saga on TV. Because they're going to need to fill the streaming service with something. It's not like Disney isn't massive and has such a huge catalog, but people are going to want Star Wars stuff. Still. I mean, you still have people who want it. There's a lot of us who are just, we're done. We're tired of it. The Skywalker Saga continuing on TV could actually be a great thing for the franchise. Oh, this is what's concerning me. How this is worded. When you hear stuff like this kind of tricks the masses a little bit. This gets into the subconscious by saying, and that's a good thing. You know, here's why it's a good thing we failed and we couldn't wrap up the Skywalker saga in the movies. That might be some sort of article we see in the future, how they couldn't wrap up the Skywalker saga in the films because of how badly Rian Johnson screwed them. I think they're even worse off than they imagined. I think that's part of why they're taking so long to film things. They're doing so much improv. They're trying so many things on episode 9. I'm really concerned now. I'm really, really concerned about how bad it's going to be. Oh, it opens avenues for Disney to explore more areas around the original and its sequel trilogies and fill in some of the Star Wars gaps without having to make more movies to do so. Because, well, the movies don't really make money, do they? They don't seem to turn a profit anymore. They're probably really, really concerned that Episode 9 isn't going to make money, especially after the mess of the Vader fan film. And yes, we did get a victory there. It did get rescinded. It was retracted. The copyright claim was retracted from Warner Chappell Music on behalf of, on behalf of Disney. But yeah, this is really concerning to me. Star Wars universe is vast and populated with all kinds of characters and creatures, not to mention stories waiting to be told. Despite that, it's almost always been focused on a relatively small corner of it. This way, Lucasfilm can tell the Star Wars story in the most beloved time periods on TV. Johnson, Weiss, and Benioff, and whoever else comes in, meanwhile, are free to go just about anywhere they want. New time periods, new characters, new settings, and new stories. Star Wars Episode 9 is tantalizing, but this prospect is even more exciting. Ooh, so this is basically saying, forget Star Wars Episode 9, we're going to finish up the series on TV. Oh, that's what I'm reading into this. What do you guys read into this? I know I skipped some of this. I will link this full article in the video description. You always have to kind of read one layer deep into these articles. You always have to kind of see beyond what's written. The fact that they're using that sort of verbiage tells me that they're probably testing the water in some way. They're probably finding a way to spin it favorably that they won't be able to wrap up the Skywalker saga in this one movie because of how badly Rian Johnson screwed them with The Last Jedi and completely setting them backwards. They probably have to film a good chunk of what should have taken place during that film to kind of fill the gaps. You know, you have 3 movies, you have to tell a story, you have to have a beginning, middle, and end, and now they have to go back and redo the middle. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!